Part two, the fun part, we get to decorate. Before we start, I do want to show you the playful pets. So I'm using from the dogs. And I eventually will put some kitties in here, but I'm going to use these three right here. I use this. So you can also cut out some different sentiments to go along. But this is the die cuts with a view. And we have it in the store. I'm going to turn it sideways at countrycraftcreations.com. They even have turtles. And it's hard to see, but the hearts on the turtles in between are glitter. This has got to be one of the cutest pet lines. There's even a mouse. I love the plaids, but I know it's always, you have kitties. So you could even take these dog tags from here, but the color wasn't quite right. But I wanted to show you. So if you have, there's more for the dogs and more dog things that you can fussy cut. But if you have kitties, so the middle of the album has the cats, more cats that you can definitely fussy cut. The cut apart for the cat, and that's pretty cute, is a little different, than the dog. But you still, you could definitely cut out the kitties, or, the colors aren't too far off. That's what I liked about it. And in fact, some of it even coordinates. And then you have more dogs. And we even have they made some embellishments to go with this. I was shocked. We have them in the store. And this, he's all glittered. These are so pretty. These are actually glittered. This one, all of this. So you have some cats. Maybe you had a bird. And I will be putting some cats in because we had cats. It's just, this is the first time we decided to just stick with dogs. Maybe you had a cat and a dog that was the best friend. Isn't that darling? So this line is really cute. And then this is the dog one. And this is the second one I've used. So I will definitely, like, a house is not a home without a dog. There's a lot more that you can use than these three and that guy. So that's what I'm going to be using along with it. And I do have the single sheet. I know. I have the single sheets of die cuts with the view. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now I'll show you as we go along what we're going to do. We're going to start right here. We'll go back at the end and then put in all of our elements. But this is the book part we're creating. And then I wanted to just, the back side of our green piece here has, these are your teal and gold. I used the teal. I think I'm going to use gold on this one so that my albums are different. And I did use one sheet from each one of these. And I just need to, of course, stop. I'll be right back. Okay. They're doing construction in the yard too, the hub, so I had to go see what was going on there. And then also, as I'm giving, I've already cut, but I'm going to give you papers that you'll cut first, because you have to have the length, and then you'll use the pieces for all the other stuff, just to let you know. And I'll show you also where I've used my 6x8 pad. So like I said, I'm going to change this to gold, but I did use the opposite side on here, but I decided to do them different. And that's what we're going to work on now. So when I open this, let's go ahead and take out our waterfall and set this aside. And we're going to start and work from the bottom out. So for the bottom, I will have the plaid. And we're going to just lay out the pieces first that we're going to use, and then I will give you the measurements. Okay, so there, I'll give you these two sides first, but I'm going to definitely use the opposite side. Let's take those out. I'm going to use gold. I'll show you how that will look. So you can use the gold or the teal. I just thought it'd be nice that the two albums are a little bit different. And then for the bottom, I'm still using the same pieces and parts, and that will be for the outside. Let me give you some cut measurements. Now, I do suggest you do measure your side to side, though, and top to bottom, just to make sure it's going to depend on the placement of your flaps. But mine, when I measured, I cut mine 6 3/4 wide by 8 7/8 long. And then for your, if you're going to do the inking of the edges, I've already done it. Sepia looks nice. I use the Color Philosophy Truffle, kind of a grayish, not too dark color. I really liked it, and I've already inked all my edges so that you don't have to sit through that. And then everything's ready to go. I like the back side too. That was pretty cute. Just the gray, kind of gray taupey polka dots. I didn't put a pin in when I was finished. I should have. Remember, you don't want your matting to get in the way of your flaps. So put it down, and if you need to, trim it so it's a little bit shorter. Otherwise, it won't close as nice as you were wanting it to. When using wet adhesive, I always go around the edges, kind of like your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, to get that peanut butter around there and the jelly in the center doesn't ooze out. Then you can go ahead with your bone folder, or if you're using a spatula, and finish spreading that glue around. I'm going to mat everything here, and then we will do the waterfall. I'm going to close this up as I go. Like I said, before I use the teal, this time I'm going to use the gold. And that's what I like about these two-sided cardstocks. Echo Park and Simple Stories has the coordinating like this. Now, Authentique, I love their coordinating because it's on textured paper. But sometimes, you know, the colors are directed to each company's. They have their own color palettes. So they don't always work with the other lines. Sometimes we get lucky. Now, Authentique almost always does because of the colors that they've chosen. But it's nice to use it when it's right from the same collection, because you know it's going to coordinate perfectly. Again, making sure that magnet is covered, and because this is a plain and it's a little bit of a lighter weight, you may see the magnet, but nobody cares. And it'll calm down once the paper decides where it wants to be. Making sure my edges are closed. Now on the sides, oh, I didn't give you the measurements. 4 3/8 by 6. This is 4 3/8 by 6 3/4. And the same with the front. Let's do the front. Then we'll go. I know we were working in and out, but then we're going to put this down and we'll open it and work back on the flaps. So from this one, this is the sky, and one side has, looks like the mountains and the clouds. 4 3/8 wide and 6 3/4 long. Again, just remeasure yours to make sure if you needed to cut yours down any. All right, now we'll do the side flaps. And I'm leaving this big flap closed because And it's kind of difficult when it's super long. Now my sides are 2 7/8 wide, and mine came out to be 8 5/8 long. So remember, I trimmed it down, and 2 7/8 wide. Again, the original book had the blue, which is very pretty, but I'm going to use gold this time. So our outside striped piece that we'll put on will be the same. Where's my rag? There it is. Will be the 2 7/8, and mine are 8 5/8. Because I trimmed it down to fit when we were constructing that. There. So we can just continue working on this side. Two 7/8, and mine's 8 5/8. 8 5/8 by 2 7/8. And this is the back of one of your cut aparts. So when you're cutting that cut apart, you'll see I kept over to the side that has the flower. And I'll grab that and show you. Because I wanted these three. So what I did is these are 2 7/8. So I cut 6 inches off basically. And then that left this side. And you could still use this doily piece right here. But I knew that I wanted to keep these three. Because they were perfect for this collection. I mean, the reason I'm doing the album. Just leave that open. Same size, 2 7/8 by 8 5/8. I think I will be making one more album with this collection. And you know what? I'm going to use navy blue next time. And we actually have the My Colors cardstock in the dots. And I've chosen some colors that match. So I think I'll be using those. Now you're going to notice it's going to get a little stiffer. So we'll just reburnish. And then I did do my stripes so that the same colors, because I cut the 6-inch sheet first, and then I cut it 2 7/8 by 8 5/8. But I wanted my stripes to pretty much match. So if you want the same, just make sure you're putting it the right direction. And you can put pictures there. The 2x3s, definitely. All right, let's just fold that down so we can make some room for the bottom. So this is now 8 1/2 and 6 7/8. So my piece is 8 3/8 long by 6 3/4 wide. And I chose the floral, but I wanted the stripes. And the wording does go you'll notice there's some wording kind of like inked out. It's hard to see, but it is directional. So when I have this come down, I want it to be so it looks like it's legible. So 8 3/8 by 6 3/4 is the size I cut. And that will be the same for the front. Oh no, isn't it that? I almost threw that away. Those are my waterfall pieces. 8 3/8 by 6 3/4. And I don't think this one really has a directional. Move my tape. Okay, there's the inside where our waterfall is going to go. I like the gold. I like the blue too. It just gives kind of a different, either a warm or kind of cold. Not cold, cool. Warm or cold look. Goodness, warm or cool. There we go. Okay, from your 8 by 8 or 6 by 8, I took this piece. Okay, this is 6 by 8. Now our waterfalls happen to be 5.5. I need to cut that out by 6. So you're going to take your piece, and first I put it in the cutter. And your cutter should be in 16ths. So what I did, it's 6 inches. I just moved it to the first 16th. Then I turned it around. And then I put it at 5 7/8 and trimmed it. Now we only need this to be 5 3/8. So what I did is I cut it from the top. I'll tell you exactly how much. So first, in your cutter from the top, you're going to take off 1 1/8. So I would put it in my cutter, and I would cut off 1 1/8. Okay. Now what's going to happen? I'm going to turn this now to the other end, because we only need this to be 5 3/8. Whoops! But when you put it down, okay, you need to make sure, especially if you have a wire, if you're going to cut into the heart, that's not what you want to do. So I'm going to turn it over this way. I'm going to remove 1/4 inch. Then I'll turn it upside down and put it at 5 3/8. And then it still looks symmetrical. and I'm very happy with that. And that's how I cut that to fit on the front of this waterfall. And I do need to now re-ink that top. Now ink the bottom. So it comes out to be 5 7/8 by 5 3/8. And it's a perfect fit. And for the rest of the waterfall, I just cut 1-inch strips. And it's becoming a thing, if you've noticed, which is nice in a way because your picture adds weight. And if you map the whole waterfall, and sometimes you still may want to, it adds bulk. So your waterfall doesn't lay nice and flat like this one will. But also it takes up even more paper. If you've ever done the waterfalls where you've used the whole 6x6 pad, front and back, I mean, that's not uncommon. And this still looks nice. Leaves you room for those 4x6 photos. So what I did is I took my next one, and I like the 6x8 because the images aren't super tiny like in your 6x6s. So I took the Remember, we're going to use front and back, and I cut it. I just put it in the cutter at 5 7/8. And then I cut 6 1-inch strips. I want to just check what I started. Okay. And so these are 5 7/8 by 1. So I started with the floral. And then for inside here, I took my next 6x8-inch sheets. I cut it to, no, I cut off a, here it is. This one, it's going to be your smaller, little bit smaller cut aparts. I cut it to 5 7/8, and then I cut 3/8 of an inch strips. So we'll lay those down, and then we'll lay our 1 inch down towards the bottom. And I didn't ink my 3/8 of an inch strips because it tends to get messy. And that's going to sit at the top. And the back side of Remember, which is the stripes. And I want that 1/8 of an inch border on the sides and at the bottom. And then when you lay down your picture, I've already pretty much trimmed this. It's the wrong orientation. That's Wilbur. And you really don't have to trim it that much, but see, then your 4x6 will sit there and look somewhat framed. Or you can do two 2x3s, trim down. And I didn't even need to trim that much. But Wilbur's not going in this album because he's still here. And hopefully he will be here for a long time. So he won't need an album like this. I've had a Dalmatian. We've had our yellow lab. We've had 3 Brittany's. We've had, oh my gosh, so many over the years with kids. And then our cats. And we've had, I have to say, except for the cats who sometimes they just like to run away. We've had them from beginning to end, so I'm very grateful for that. I never lost one due to, and I should knock on wood, due to anything horrific. But then we do tend to baby them. We protect over them like they're our children, so. Just the way even I was raised. Okay, so we're going to keep going every other one. So that was Remember, so we'll go down to the stripe. 3/8 of an inch strip will go next. Oh, and bunny. We had bunnies. We had a fish. That darn thing, my kids brought it home from the carnival. You know how we used to throw in those ping pong balls and get a fish. So we went on vacation. We'd already had it for a good 2-3 years, and they weren't supposed to live that long. And we had gone back to New Hampshire, where my husband's from, came home, and the person watching our house never changed the water. And that poor fish had algae and all kinds of stuff growing on it, and he was just laying there half dead. So we figured he was dead. So I put him in the toilet. Of course, I've got some little boys watching me. And I guess because I put the bowl, I remember putting it in the sink. I guess the cold water from the toilet, we'd been gone, remember? So revived this little fish. He started swimming. I didn't see it. I flushed the toilet. The boys are screaming. One of them flung their hand in the toilet. Guess what? We had the fish for another 3 years. So I'll have to put some pictures of his fish in here. Because I do have pictures of that fish. And our last one, let me just make sure I'm putting everything in the right. Remember is my last one. Even though you don't see this one, it's down behind. Okay, now we've pushed our waterfall up. So let's go ahead and just pretty well laying flat. See, that's the other thing. I like how the weight down here adds so that this does lay flat, because all the weight's at the bottom, and it really does lay it flat, and that makes it look really nice. And then when you bulk it up, it'll be bulked up due to photos, not because of your pattern paper. And we're just going to adhere this down. We don't need a magnet or anything because it will be encased, kind of like the hidden waterfall. Center that. Be quick if you're using the art glue because it's going to be dried fast. All right, let's just flip things up. And those colors are so refreshing. They're so pretty together. And you want to get into that 1/2 inch where we have the score line, because that's helping to push down the base of our waterfall, because we glued it. So we want to furnish that really well. Okay, and we'll be back to do the decorating. Let's just keep moving here. Spines. And I chose the same color that I did for the front, and this is the back of your 2x2 sheet. And we're going to use this on the front. So you want 4 pieces that are 8 7/8 by 1 1/2, and you will be able to put the whole 1 1/2 right on there. So we'll put our 2 spine pieces down first, and they are again 1 1/2 inches by 8 7/8. Make sure that's on there straight. I really like the spatula. I don't know if you can see how it actually bends, and I'm able to really get it into those tight spots. I just love it. Second one on the inside, and it's the same. 1 1/2 by 8 7/8. And in the first part 1 video, there is the cutting guide for your cardstock and chipboard. You do not do a cutting guide for your matting. I found that not everybody likes a 1/8 border, some like a 1/4 inch, so you cut their papers. And I have found too that then I'd have people confused. So like new crafters that, oops, maybe they put theirs together a little different. So that's why I don't have a cutting guide for that. So I do suggest if you are using my same measurements, you go ahead and write them down. And there's no PDF, just the video. It's not my, I'm telling you right now, it's not my spot to write a video. I mean to PDF for retreats, but nothing else. I'm just not good at it. Now for this little guy, this is the back of the polka dot, and it's the other part of what we used on the inside under our waterfall. So it is 8 7/8 by 2 7/8 wide, and it's going to go on the flap. Now on this large magnet, I'm going to add some more, but I also need to show you. If you want to use just your round large magnets, I'd put one here in the corner, one here in the corner, and then kind of in the center because of the length. You don't have to use 3. I did. Even on this one, I have one here, and then one more here in the center, but down a little bit, and one here on the end. So there are 3. And you don't have to add any more score tape on those because they are smaller. I'm going to add some more on this one because of its size. And when we get these in, if you do try them out and want to use them, I would suggest you do the same because they are bigger. And I do want them to grab the paper. And I did get some ink on there, but it's on the back side mostly. Magnet is larger. So you just, if you do find that, I got on crooked, you do buy them and want to use them, they are a little bit thicker. Adhere the paper. Let's go around it so it kind of molds to the paper. And you do see this one a little bit more because of its size, but it's not overly bad. It closes so tight though. It's so nice. I do like that. Okay, we're going to start with this little flap. But before you do, I'm going to have you start actually with the back page. Now this is where you're going to see why. I didn't cut this first. I cut for my pocket first. Big mistake. I needed that length. And because I cut this one correctly, then my piece, see how my arrows are going this way? Now mine will go down. And I have another sheet so that I can show you what I'm talking about. What I did is I cut this piece off, and I'd cut my 4-inch piece off first, which made this too short. And see, on the original album, I had this the full length, and I didn't want to cut another sheet. So please make sure you do cut your, it's going to be 6 3/4 all the way down, and then you can cut your 8 3/8 off. And then you're going to have what you need here, and you can turn it this way, and that's where I got the cool looking arrows going that direction. You'll cut it from the half up here that's left. I hope that makes sense. But cut your long pages before you cut your little pockets, and that's what happened with me. So I'll show you what I did to fix it, which isn't a bad fix. So you actually want to cut your long sheet pages at 6 1/8 by 8 3/8. 6 1/8 by 8 3/8. So what I had to do, because I cut that off, so I just went with it. So this is still my 6 1/8, but mine ended up being only 7 3/4. And so I cut a strip. I just watched myself throw it of what was left, and I'll have these down here at the bottom, just in case you happen to do the same thing. This is 3/4 of an inch by 6 1/8. And then I will set this down here. And then I will take my ephemera piece that we're going to be putting down here instead of over here. So that's the only change. Plus, I won't have the cute arrows, just how it, goodness, happened to come out on the original one. But always cut the longest, your pages first, your 4 pages. We have another one, though, that's kind of broken up. So you only need, I believe, 2 full 8 3/8 pieces. So we're going to lay those down first so that you can go back and cut your short pieces from those scraps. So we're going to kind of skip around for just a second. Just don't want you to make the mistake I did, but it looks okay too. Actually, I could have said, I'm going to show you something different because I want those sparkles down there. I really like those. Kind of the lights. Yeah, the light. Or the party confetti. Now I have a little bit of it on the bottom. So this is going to be, we cut this page up. That'll be your extra piece from there. Again, from your hearts. Cut your 6 1/8 by 8 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one down, and I think that is our only 2 full-size pieces that you need to cut first, because, oh, and let me show you on this piece. So don't cut your heart yet. On your hearts, So that's cute too, and I know that was a hard decision because I really liked it. And you'll see, you can color in one of your hearts. You'll see where I put one of the hearts over it. But I really wanted that up in my pocket. I have to show you something too that is kind of weird. Oh, yeah. Oh, I went this way. Okay. I keep trying to think this time it's going to be at the bottom, which is fine. So with this piece, this is the only thing. Either you give up that or you give up that. And I wanted to keep that. Then I wanted the dandelion down here. So that, now after you cut your 6 1/8, you will have this piece. Now you're going to cut your length. It's also 6 1/8 by 4 1/8, so that you have that in the corner. That's why you want to cut these long pages first. I made a mistake. Look at, I did it again. So what I did is I cut it off the bottom. I screwed up my length for the hearts to go the right direction. It wouldn't matter if things didn't have to be directional. Now we put that down. Now we can go ahead and we'll start here with our cut apart. And for the cut apart, I did choose the Winnie the Pooh saying, but they're 4 by 6. And we need, because our pocket is 6 1/4. And so I took the other piece of our coordinating cardstock, and I'm using the navy blue at 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. And then I left my cut apart the same, 4 by 6. So we're going to mat that first. So we'll have that double matting. I just love Winnie the Pooh. Okay, onto the navy. Did I lose my cloth again? Again, get your glue edges. And I did take the card out, and I took all the other cards out. We'll mat those with our 6 by 8s and with our scraps. Okay, now it's where my arrows are going to be. I'm going to change them so they point up. Before they were like that, which turned out perfect, but we're going to point up. This is 6 1/8 by 4 1/8. Yep. Or you can leave it white if you want to just journal. Or just have a photo with a white background. Now the back side. So I chose 2 different things. We will be cutting, so don't cut this yet. First, from that sheet of paper, you need to cut your back piece. Your back piece from that space seam is, there's a name for it. I should get you the proper name. I'm so sorry. It is called Forever. 6 7/8 by 8 7/8. And then you can go ahead and cut your 4 1/2 by 6 1/8 piece. it's going to go at the top. And then for my 6x8 paper pad, I cut a piece that is 3 3/4 by 6 1/8. So kind of like this, the stained glass, and then I just loved it. There's that piece I was telling you about. See, I couldn't figure out, why is my flower not in the corner? Duh. And it's 6 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we can put those all down. We'll start with this one at the top. That was nice too. You know, I don't think I used that in the book, and I keep looking at it, wondering why not. It's so pretty. Just the gray and the teal together. Now also check to make sure you do have that space there. So that way it just gives it a cleaner look. You don't want them overlapping. And that's what it looks like. We'll be using our ephemera. So now we'll put down our pieces that will go on that pocket. And this is the other piece from the stripes on the back side. And again, it's 6 1/8 by 4 1/8. And you can tell it's directional on this one side because of the wording, but your flowers they're okay if it's not going the directional side. I thought it looked fine. I know that was hard. I wish they hadn't done that. But they have hearts in your sticker sheet and in the ephemera, and you can also use your ink markers or whatever you like. And you could color in a heart. It just looks cool. And I didn't put any ephemera on this back side. I just left it for photos. Even with, you've got quite a few different prints here, but I just kind of love the way the dark blue breaks things up. So we already did that page. Now we're going to do this back page. And I did do that on purpose this time. But again, mine's going to be a little different. It's from the hearts. So I should have cut this first, but it really doesn't matter once I looked at it. It's 6 1/8, and I'll give you my length is 7 1/2. And then this piece is from the back of a 6x8. I call it Starry Night. They call it, did I give you the right name again? Forever. And it's from the might have to forget in the camera, 6x8 pad. So it's 6 1/8, and it is 3/4 of an inch. I have that down, and then I put the floral. And then I put one of the doggy stickers, flowers around him, and some hearts, and that's what we'll do. Your page is not going to lay like perfectly flat. Just so you know, I mean, it's flat, but you have kind of that ridge there, and that's supposed to be that way. That's the way this page is. And I managed to put that on a little crooked. You trim mine down. Just have a wider space, but that way you don't notice. See, when it gets too close to the paper and starts overlapping, you're going to see that there was a little boo-boo. But now you don't as much. Now, this is where, again, we have our two-sided paper. One was the yellow and one was the kind of a taupey color. And this is a difference. See, it's not much different, is it? So you can choose which side you want to use. If this is too dull for you, I'll give you the measurements in a minute. I'm going to have to play with this for a moment because you have that matting from when we put our hinge piece on, and it might give you a little resistance and it might be irritating. So there we go. You're going to have to kind of play with that because you need to cover it, and then we need to come back here, see, onto the hinge, okay, where that is going to sit. So I cut mine 8 7/8 by 6, and I'm almost tempted to go, I think I will go yellow again on this one. So you can choose either side. So however it's going to be easiest for you to work with. I'm using my spatula kind of like a shoehorn. And again, that's just a spatula. You can get them at Harbor Freight. The white ones I get at Home Depot. And yes, using it just like a shoehorn makes life so much easier. Just make sure you clean it before putting it back down. And it's going to be bumpy right over there at the top and at the bottom. That's where that hinges. And you can also put another strip of paper if you like to break that up. And I just might, only because I do have some that was left over, and I think I want to do that this time. It'll break it up. Hold your page and bring it right to that edge. almost. Oh yeah, I like that. So this was left from cutting these little hinge parts, or for our spines. I don't even know the measurement, so it is 1/2 inch. And I keep them all. So I keep all these little pieces, parts, because that's even one that could be used until we're done, when they're strips of the exact same length, just for things like this. So the original album doesn't have this, but I think it's going to get it because it's going to break up that taupey color. But yes, your ends, the way that page sits, you're going to have to kind of form that paper, or if you've got your clothespins, set it on that bumpy area so it will close. And while that one's doing its thing, let me grab this to show you. That's cute. Whoops. I'm going to put that down real fast so it doesn't get thrown in the garbage. And this one looks like it's probably a 3/8 of an inch strip. From the other side is all. How do I keep losing my rag? Oh my heck, I don't have any left dried ones. I like that. Broke up all that plain. There it is. So I do need to cut this piece. And what happened with mine was the same thing that happened to everything else. I didn't get it cut. Okay. I haven't cut it yet. Don't want to cut the new one. So, again, it's from this piece. But there were the plain ones that I wanted to use. So I'm going to cut it from this side. And this is going to be 2, and there's 3 1/4. So we're going to cut our matte piece at 2 5/8 by 9 7/8. So I'm just going to cut the 2 5/8 off first. Because we don't want to cut up more than we have to. Oh, sorry, it's 8 7/8, not 9 7/8. 8 7/8. Okay, to give you an idea of the 2 different looks. There it is with the taupe and with the yellow. I like them both. Kind of like the gold. Of course, this one is not called gold. This one is called I'll have to look it up for you. But if you buy the pack, you get 2 sheets of each. Looks like this. Maybe. Oh, they call it gray, yellow and gray. Okay, there's the inside. Now we're going to do the outside. I'm going to flip my album flat. I'm going to use the yellow floral, the blue again, and this piece. So yellow floral and the blue are going to be the same. They are 6 7/8 by 8 7/8. The overlap piece is 2 7/8 by 8 7/8. Spine pieces 2 3/8. I mean, sorry, 1 1.5 by 8 7/8. 2 of those. Remember, we needed 4. And down the first piece goes. Now, I almost reversed this one and put the blue on the front. That would be really pretty too, but I thought, no, I better not veer too far off the tutorial in case you're following what I did. Okay, let's work around our second magnet here. I forgot to put the tape down, but I think we'll be fine. We're back. For some reason, I've never had my recording program do this. It tells me now after an hour that I've hit my recording limit. I don't know why. One half by 8 7/8. And then our second 8 7/8 by 6 7/8. I like that too. We're going to stick with the program here. I'll do another one. It's the colors. I mean, when you look at the patterns, I mean, it's a nice paper. There's not this super special. How do I explain? I mean, there is, but it's the colors for me. These are like my colors. I was born in March, so aquamarine. Oh yeah, and yellow. Yeah. And I don't care what would be on here. You put those colors, and I'm in love with it. And then the navy blue just really, I think it really made the variation that it needed. Just checking that I'm not upside down. and another 1/2 by 5 7/8, 1/2 by 8 7/8 of an inch piece. Uh-oh. Putting this down, and I'm hearing a puppy that just woke up. And I'm afraid he's got something he shouldn't, because I can tell by the noise. What you got? Nothing? He fooled me. I thought he had something he wasn't supposed to. The nice thing, the dogs have a nap time between now and about 5. No, 4 when it's dinner time. Okay, my next piece. Sit like so. Again, you could definitely change it if you wanted. But I'm not. So 2 7/8 by 8 7/8. Okay, before we move into decorating, let's take our inserts so I can show you what I did. And here you're just going to basically use your scraps or whatever you like. I'm going to be using the 6 by 8 paper pad. So that's where I put one of the hearts. So from your 6 by 8 paper pad, very little trimming is necessary. That's what's so cool. Well, let's just start here. Whoops. I used this one. And for the back side, I used that piece. So that took care of that one. Again, I used the gold heart. Now on your 6 by 8, they're not gold embossed like your 12 by 12. And the back side was our kaleidoscope. That's kind of weird. No, I didn't. There it is. Now, this one was where I messed up. And so I covered mine in ephemera. I meant to use the striped side. So this time I'll do it correctly. But that is just ephemera that I used to cover up some of those. Like I said, I didn't want praying for you in the time of sorrow. You are in our hearts, our thought, and our prayers. And words cannot wipe away the tears and buried sorrow. I didn't want it to be sad. So that's the reason I used my ephemera. And I did that because I wasn't paying attention. So you should have 8 pieces. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, and I used the hearts, but you know what? I'm going to do this a little different. I'm not going to use those hearts. I'm going to use the floral. I didn't use those before. So I'm going to use those. There's my 8. Now all you have to do is cut these down. These are 6 by 8. These are 6 by 8. So you just need to cut your pieces down. So I won't do this on camera. 5 7/8 by 7 7/8. And I just covered the front and the back of mine, leaving the inside for photos. You definitely, of course, can. And then I just used the ephemera ampersand. And this, again, I just used ephemera to hide those sad things. But I won't do that this time because I'm going to do it correctly. Here was the hearts, and from your ephemera pack that we're going to open in just a moment, that was in there, so I put it there. And then that was just your ephemera. So I'll set those aside. And these, so I'll do those off camera since they're straightforward. 5 7/8 by 7 7/8. And then on these cards, they are, now mine are going to be 4 by 6. These ones were a little smaller, and I just took from our cut aparts. That were left. I used the hearts, and then I used that one, and I just cut them down to fit. And then the back side, you can definitely just use your scraps, which is, now I'll go back through. So they will look different because it'll just depend on my scraps this time and how I cut them. I'm going to go with the gold, and I still want to use these two, or maybe this time, you know, whatever you want to use. And you just cut them down. I am going to be cutting mine down to 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And again, I did not do the centers. Okay, so I'll set those aside, and I'll do those off camera. Now, let's get our ephemera pack. And then if you have a tray or anything that you like to set your ephemera in when you're working, that kind of helps because these do tend to have little pieces, and I can already see them floating. And you'll want your chipboard shapes. Okay, you want to get all that good. And I do keep this little, because you may want to mat. Totally up to you. Sticker sheet, well, have it handy. I did use one thing from the sticker sheet, and it does come in your collection pack. So if you have it, we'll use that one thing. But I used mostly my chipboard stickers. They're really cute. They did such a great job. And I have to show you something really fun. I just brought these in, so they'll be on the website soon. I did bring in the stickers. Not stickers. Oh my gosh, you guys, everything that's on my desk today, everything is just getting lost. And I'm not even really making a mess. Okay, they have a die. My silhouette came on. Oops. Okay. They have a die and a sticker set. And look how cute this is. The only thing that I'm really sad about is that on your sticker sheet, there's a banner. And I really thought that this little banner would fit our sticker. But it doesn't. But you can do it so that you fit it so it looks like it's a shadow behind there. And I did do that, just playing with it. And one other thing that I do really like is the heart. But you can stamp and then you can cut. So if you like to stamp, these are really fun. And then there's the floral. It'll cut out your dandelions. Not, well, they are dandelions, but then you've got your banner. So I did bring these in because these are some dies that I know I would really use. Now, even in black and white, you don't even have, or you can, stamp it in navy ink. Really cute. So I did also do some of the hearts because I liked them. And they will fit. Now, the heart, I did notice, even though it's a little bit smaller, but if you needed to change this so it wasn't a sticker, then you could put your heart back here, pop it up on your pop dots, and it's nice and firm. So it's just a little bit bigger, but pretty cute. So we'll hang on to that. So those will be in the store. I like those. I do like those dies. So we're going to start with our heart and also our little doggies down here. So I'm just going to cut these guys out. So I can cut them better on my cutter. You could fussy cut them out, but they're pretty small. They're like they're a little more than one, about 1 1/4. Just cutting away the blue line because I'll ink them. So the first one I used was the little guy here. Or if you have actual photos that you want to cut down, that would be cute too. So the first thing that I used, I kind of get the big ones. I know we're going to be using this one, heart to start with. And then I'll use a gold heart from here. And I use this medium-sized one down here by the, what do you call that thing? Wreath. There we go. You can ink your edges. I didn't on most of the ephemera. It's white. I just didn't want to get it smeared everywhere. I was trying to keep that. It's kind of a cleaner look to me, so I didn't want to shabby it up, if that makes sense. Now, really quick before, should have forgot to put him in there. Okay, so put my little doggy right there. Remove that edge. And then you can take these backs off, and a lot of times the sticky will come off with it. If it does, I just let it. But I do still add adhesive because I want it to be permanent. I swear he's chewing up something. Hold on. You are chewing up something. Oh, you're going to be in so much trouble. Oh, I don't know when he got my husband's shoe and my husband's insert. And I'm making an album for memory album of puppies, and I'll tell you what, he just may be a memory. Whoa. I didn't even see him go get that. Wilbur? Oh, and he's being so quiet. Have you noticed? Oh, we're just going to put it upstairs and we're going to pretend I don't know anything. I'll tell my husband I'll buy you a pair of new shoes. You want to go buy some new shoes? Oh, he's so naughty. He knows he's naughty. I can hear him over there. You know, another thing that would be really cute too on this, and I just want to show you these letters, would have been adorable. I didn't think to use them. And I didn't use them. I was going to use that for a photo. Of course, we do have love over here. I really like those. They just might go in this album story. Coming over here to beg your forgiveness that you're in so much trouble for eating your dad's shoe. He hasn't gotten into shoes in a long time. Wilbur. So I did leave the bottom open for photos. Also, that I thought that'd be a really good place. And we might need a place for Wilbur. But I thought that'd be cute to have the animal down here at the bottom. I'm just hoping that he doesn't go up there and get the other shoe. Okay, we're just going to kind of go piece by piece. Now here is where I pieced it. And on this piece, I did use, from our ephemera pack, I think My Lucky Stars for You. I know the wording is hard to see. And I'm going to place mine over here where because I did the piecing. On the original, it's over here. What you got? And over here, I have my heart ephemera piece on the back side. Like I said, there was so many cute things. There's that Make-A-Wish I used. We will be using the stars. I just love those. Okay, I'm seeing some gold. There we go. on this side, this is 2 ephemera pieces. It was that dandelion, and I just glued it down enough to hold the cute little card, sentiment card. And you have a couple of different ones. This one doesn't have the gold on it. I chose the gold. And then the square of the heart. So when gluing this down, I glued the stem and then just up on the side a little bit. And then there we go. Just find a place to sit. You know, I think that that would be really a nice place up here at the top for a sentiment. And so from the sticker sheet, I'm going to use my heart. And that just came from this corner, from the stickers. So I didn't want the goodbyes are forever, things like that. Just the grids. And I still could put a photo if I wanted. And then on the original, I did nothing back here, but this is where I used this. And actually, it just reminded me of a dog tag. But I did put a star on mine. On the original one. I'm hearing noises upstairs. I may have to turn the video off and run up there. And I think that I am going to use a chipboard star, a heart, instead of the star this time. Never mind. He's down here now. What time is it? Oh, it's almost dinner time. He's throwing his bowls down the stairs. So on the original one, I used the gold star. I'm going to use the heart this time. Remove the backing. Add some adhesive. Then also, I haven't forgotten, I'm going to probably cover the inside of this a little bit. Okay, original. From our ephemera, we have some really fun and cute hearts that you can use. Let's see if I use that. Wonder why I didn't use that originally. That one's pretty cute. So let's get out a few of the hearts. We have some really pretty flowers. Now there's that ampersand that you can use on your, excuse me, one of those 6x8 cards. Stop it. Guess who's awake? And they're not double-sided. I'm just kind of looking for that gold one. But we also have gold ones. There's this gold one. And then for the bottom, I did use the florals. And you have quite a few different ones to choose from. Sometimes it helps to just go through and get everything sorted. double checking to make sure those weren't stickers. There we go. These are more of the straight. And then it looks like I used a smaller. Okay, we're done. He's out to the left of me. Stop. Okay, there we go. So before, I used these two little guys put together. One of the puppies. But this time, I think I'm going to go a little different. So this is the original. And this is the new one. I like to put my layered piece here first. Kind of join them together. Okay, my little brown puppy with the bow tie. Trying to figure out how we want our layout to look. Kind of going towards these darker blue this time. I like that. Original. Just going with the darker blue. So first I'll put the dog down, but I'm only going to kind of glue it in the center. That leaves my edges open. So now I can tuck, do some tucking of these flowers. See, so it's kind of behind. So there we go. Part of this will be able to tuck. And then if you need to, you can go back with your glue tip and do the edges. But usually now there's enough drying time that you're able to smear that around and it's good. And then if you want to add a journaling square or anything different than the first one, which I do. Oh, we have, yeah, I'm going to use this gold one. You might want to put the name of the pet or the date. Now we're going to do the pocket. So I used a floral. I used a journaling spot. This was the sticker. And if you do not want to use the sticker, and that way it saves your whole sticker sheet. I believe there's one of those in the ephemera. But I'm going to use a bigger gold heart this time. And the stars from our ephemera pack. The heart's bigger. What? And he's going to sit here and whine. Then we have these journal spot pieces. And you kind of have a green one and you have a blue one. Choice is yours. I'm going to go with the greener and the floral. And that was just a straight spray piece. And actually, I think that ended up being this piece that I used over here. Pushing that down a little bit. And so I'm going to use a different one this time. You have quite a few here, different ones I can choose from. Just the one. We can add a bundle. And this is a chipboard, and it says always remember. Or you can go ahead and use your sticker sheet, gone but not forgotten, or together forever. Like I said, I didn't want it to be too. So this time I'll use the always remember chipboard, because we always remember them. So I'm going to put the floral down first. Move these so you've got some really good tags and different pieces left over. That's too much. Okay, stars. Guess what he's got the other piece too. Oh, you're just looking for a cruising, aren't you? This is it's not okay. All right, shoe number 2. We're good to go. I have them up on the shelf. Somebody cruising for a bruising, and he knows it. No shoes. Oh, dogs can sure stare you down, can't they? That's what he's doing right now. He's naughty. Okay, and then, just to give you an idea, this is from the journaling cards, but I don't believe, I think I did use them. I'll show you where I used it, but they're not necessary. These are those 3 I showed you, the 4x4s, when we were cutting out our pieces, and then I cut my gray mats with my scraps at 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then you can just throw those in your pockets. So we won't do those on camera. And let's do something really quick with these inside pockets, because this is 8 3/8. Oh, let me put this ephemera before it ends up all over the floor, because there's going to be some of it that we're going to use here. Can I leave off one of the dogs? Well, we'll use her somewhere. Oh, I'm putting this ephemera away just really quick because I don't want to. Now, coordinating cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. It's over here at 8 3/8. And I'll give you the width in just a minute. Well, we only need it to be 6. And this is what was left. Oops, wrong book. Left over from matting that navy blue. And I'd mentioned earlier I was really considering cutting off down, matting the inside. Take off an inch, an 1/8 of an inch, and I'll give you the. I wanted to mat the inside on this side because I wanted to cover those hinges on this side. And I do like it lined. So let me tell you what I cut this to. I cut it to 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. And I want to ink the top. And then I'm going to actually use the other, let me grab it. I believe it was the gray one. It'll be like gray and gold on the inside. So I'll go back and also do the original album. It just looks nicer covering those hinges. So 4 3/4. Make a mess. Not a problem at all getting our hands in there. This just makes it easier. Still a little damp. Okay. It's damp. You can really get that glue off. Okay. That looks a lot nicer. Same with the inside there. And I'll use the gold. 8 1/4 and then 4 3/4. That's all you need. It's really flat. Get the edge. Oh, it's gray. Maybe I'll use gray. Gray with gray. No, I'll use yellow. Somebody wants dinner. That looks a lot nicer, more finished. Okay. do the cover. I want to show you the original cover and a couple things. So, on your original cover, this is not a 4x3x4 cut apart. This was from the ephemera cards, and I don't even think that was on our cut aparts when I was looking back through. So I do like the ephemera cards. I do believe there are a few more than, yeah, there is. Those aren't on there. So you have 2x2s, 4x4s. The nice thing is they are already cut for you. And so there's a couple of course, I wouldn't use Families this forever because this is for our puppy. Gone but never forgotten, missing you, hope, floral. I thought that was pretty cute. Then we have this one, and of course that one. So your cover really does only handle, let's open this one, a 3x4. We can do a 4x6 and we'll cut it down. I didn't want to just get another pack for the one card that says love, love, love. Okay, this is driving me crazy. Here's my 3x4s. No, there isn't a love, love, love. Let's see if we have one going the right. No, but they'll be nice inside of our book. Yeah, those aren't any I want to use. And then we have 4x4s. Again, you'll have some that are different, and they're really nice for journaling on. That would be cute. Let's take out those three options. And then, of course, our 4x6 little stickers. I did use some of those because they're really cute. You put those to the side. The Love, Love, Love is my all-time favorite because it's so generalized. But I do like Make-A-Wish. I do like this 4x4. And I can cut it just a little bit. And then I think I'll put the little dog print there. The reason being is, love you. That's nice too. I wanted to keep it somewhat general, and I want to grab this punch. This is another one, and I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing the magnet. This is more the size. I do have the smaller one, and I want to take, I still want this dog tag right here that I used on the cover, but hand cutting it is kind of difficult because it's a circle for me. And another thing that would be really cute on here is that fire hydrant, I think. So let's see how well this one's going to fit, and then I can give you an idea. This is a good all-around one to purchase. Get the tweezers. Oh goodness. Nothing works when we get on camera, does it? There we go. I'm not too worried about the top part because I'm going to put that underneath the ribbon. There, that's getting better. Of course. All right. I don't want to do this off camera because I want you to see it does. I think this album's mine because it's got my spit on there. Oh, good night. Let's try this again. All right, this has got to be something with the punch because it's not wanting to go all the way down. Hold on. I'm going to try one more time, and I won't make you suffer through this on camera. I'll do it off camera. Okay, I said to heck with that and got out my scallop punch, and it worked just great. Keep hold of that anyway because you just never know. So I'm going to start with my 4x4. I'm going to take an 1/8 of an inch off of each side. Then I'm going to use some double matting here. Now my cut apart became a 3 3/4 by 4. Okay, grabbed it. I'm going to use this scrap piece for a background, and then I'm also going to mat it onto gray. So 3 3/4, I'll cut 3 7/8 by 4 1/8. Use my big cutter. Oh, somebody's upstairs fighting. I think Wilbur pushed his limits. I do stay out of it until I feel it's necessary. I'm just kind of keeping my ears open here. So I'm going to recut this at 4 by 4 1/8. I cut it wrong because that startled me. I apologize if you heard that. It happens once in a while. He antagonizes Bagel, my other Beagle mix, to the point that she puts him in his plate. And that happens around here once in a while. And I can't say he doesn't deserve it, because he does. She takes so much of him. No, that's pretty. I think we'll go with that. I didn't even realize that was the back side. How did that happen? Okay, now my gray piece is going to be 4 by 4 1/4. I can't get anything the right length today. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Just shorten this one. Because it's nice that we have some playroom with this guy. So we're going to take another eighth of an inch off the top. Okay, we did it. And I'm going to take, I want a little more of that blue showing. That, so I took an eighth off the bottom and the top. And I'll give you some measurements. Okay, 4 1/4 by 4. 3 7/8 by 4. 3 5/8 by 3 3/4. It's going to be on the front. Might help if you can see what I'm doing. Then over here it's going to be that Prima handle that I forgot to grab from the Prima hardware. And there's 2 in a pack. So the original one that I used, there's a white one and then there's the brass one. So this one's going to get the brass one. And they are in the store at Country Craft Creations. They're called Antique Metalware. The Lily Mini Spoons. And I don't know why they're called Lily Mini Spoons, because I grabbed the wrong. These are not Lily Mini Spoons. These are the latchets. But they're in the store and they're the white and the gold. So I'll make the bow, and then we're going to be using some of our ephemera. And I used the Forever in My Heart. And then in this pack, okay, there's these little the little leaves and things that fall when you are blowing into your dandelion. I'm just putting them there in a pile. And then I use the plaid, the hearts, that's too big of a floral piece. Let me show you. Okay, there's our smaller. I know where those came from. There are so many different pieces, parts to this. There they are. Beginning to wonder. Then what I did, I just added adhesive and let them fall. Can you see those? They're pretty hard to see. We'll be cutting some flags here in just a second. And I had everything else ready. I should have had these already for you. And you know what? To be honest with you, you'll throw them away if you're not watching carefully, because all of a sudden they're there. All right. And I'll be using another gold heart with the hearts. And I'll be using some gold ribbon. Try not to lose all this stuff. So I want to start with my key, and I just used some twine. You want a thin twine. You don't want one that's really thick. So you can also just use thread. I'm just using this yellow and white twine. Oh, that puppy, he doesn't learn. First, I'm just going to put it through the door lock. I thought this was really cute. The key to unlock your heart. And then we're going to use glossy accents. This will be the very last thing we put on, because then the glossy accent or your E6000 will need some time to dry. And then I'm just going to tie these, not super tight because you want it to dangle. Since I've got a really nice thin twine, I'm just doing a knot. And I think I found this twine, to be honest with you, at a garage sale. It's really thin. I'll be able to play with that better later. So we're going to start with this piece since we need to layer it, and you'll just want a few scraps. We're going to make these flags that went underneath. Oh, hopefully he won't make his way down here. I'm going to have to throw those dogs out. Get our edges inked. Oh, it stayed on the book. Some garbage, so I have room to work. Now, scraps. There's a good one. Perfect. I'm not worried about the length. What I'm going to do is just put them in the cutter, and I'm going to cut 1-inch strips. So there's one, and I want 3 of them. I better go the long way. So I'm going to cut the top. Well, I'm going to give you some length. So 5 3/4 by 1, 6 by 1, and then let's do 6 1/4. We're going to be cutting, so they're not going to remain this length. But the main thing is, let's check our colors. Let's go black. No, I think I'll go the dark. No. Dark. Okay. So I have my pieces. Now, first of all, I'm going to figure out what my center one is. It's going to be my plaid. So I'm just going to cut up 1 inch, and then from that outer corner to center, and you'll get that shape. Now this is going to be my outside one. So I'm going from the corner straight over. Then this one, corner straight over. We're going to set that one on top. Now this one, I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off the top. I better move my coffee before the garbage gets thrown in there. So that's going to sit behind there. My floral will sit on top. And the whole thing about this is, how does it look to you, to your eyes? And once you're happy with the look that you have, yep, I got 3. I just clothespin it and glue my tops. Hold that for just a minute. We're going to glue more down, but I'm going to grab the cover. I buried my book. You know, I got mine, it seems like over a little too far. I may have to put some lace there. Don't worry about it sticking out the top, only because it's going to be covered. Mainly want to find where we want it to be. So, you know, and this one, the original one here is a little bit longer, seems like. So let's lay things out. Support a heart. And let's make our bow. I have this bow maker. We sold them one time in the store from Deco Fun. And I do like them for a little bit bigger bows. I don't have them for sale anymore. The company was, I don't know, they were different for me to work with. And this is our gold polka dot. It's right in the store. And I'm just going to put it, I have to use this one instead of my small one. And I can't use my fingers because this is too thick. So I'm just going to go once. What I'm doing is I'm bringing that around. Just bringing this around again, twice. And just go underneath. It's just like using your fingers, but like I said, this stuff's just too thick. But this gold ribbon does make a cute, or sheer ribbon, it makes such a cute little bow. And just turn those. And I'm cutting these pretty short because you don't have a lot of room on your cover. I might even cut them a little shorter. I did on the other ones so that they were more. I don't even think the tails show. They don't. So I'm just going to cut them right off. You don't even need them for this one. So we may have to do a little bit of a different, there we go, more at an angle due to the fact that this one is wider than our original one here. And the bow, see, I don't want it in the way of our cover. We need these guys to show because they're pretty. And that's why I make them long. So we can play with it and move them as needed. And then I'm going to be using glossy accents for this. And our Prima flowers, these are from Prima. They're from the Farmhouse collection. I put them on the other one. These go on the other one. I just did not secure them down. I don't know if I want to use them this time. I need to put them back on there. And I don't know if I'm going to. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to move that. That's not our main issue. This is. So once you have that where you want it on the back, just lift the whole thing up as a unit so you can get it secured in place to start. And then I don't usually glue those down, only because you might want to bring them up so that they look like real ribbon. Or you can leave them flat, whichever you prefer. And you can ink those edges. Let's add a little more. I'll just get them secured to the back with each other. Okay, and then after you put this down, if you want those to be flatter or attached together, or you don't want to roll up your edges or anything, then you can go ahead and add your adhesive to the back of those. And I leave them because there's been times that I have rolled them up. You just never know once you put it on. You'll be like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I could, you know, kind of shred them a little bit to look like real ribbon. Or secure that down. And next we'll go Forever in My Heart. I'm going to set that down just so I have it for placement, but we'll glossy accent that at the very last. You know what? I'm going to use the chipboards instead. I want a little more dimension there. See, I just took the whole back. So I'm just going to take it off. I took the whole sticky with it, which is okay. I used to, sometimes I do that because you get glue on there and then it's going to lift. And this one, did that. So we're just going to adhere all of the chip. Get down from there, Wilbur. You know, we could have even had those come out at the side. You can move those just about anywhere you want. Now our hearts. And our second one. And this is a gold heart from the chipboard pieces. Okay, these little, oh, let's bring this little gold heart, our gold star here. And I'll wait to put down my paw print after I get the, well, we can put the ribbon down because I do use art glue on that. Or glossy accents works good, or hot glue if you want. The only thing with the art glitter glue, we have to kind of hold it for a second. And that's our paw print, pet tag. No, clothespin won't reach. These are hard to get a hold of. You know what I want to use? I have some extra space down here. I thought I had a really small one I had taken out, but there it is. So this is the smallest whole one, basically, from your ephemera pack. Like I said, these are little, so I'm just dropping them. So you don't get too much glue. Like they're just falling. Basically after they've been blown on. I don't want too much glue there. You know, it's hard to see, but I did put some more hearts up there. And I put my angel. And you do have more hearts in your ephemera. So we have a navy blue one. And then an aqua blue. You even have some grays. You have some yellows. And then you have, these are really cute. Because you can also use them for other things, like if you love planners, they just are really cute. See, there's Make-A-Wish. That one is adorable. They're smaller, so definitely great for your planners. And then you also have these words down here. There's that My Angel. Come on, things aren't drying. I just brought that out. It's not really visible, but it's there. And I have the Nauvoo. I like the Nauvoo, actually. The gloss accents is nice, too. Add a little glossy on that bow. Okay, that's grabbing. So, glossy accents, E6000. Either one is really great for this. Of course, I don't put it down where it's just going to fall in there and pull up, because there's no sense in that. And be careful. If you get glossy accents on the rest of your paper, it just makes a shiny mess. And then that can dry. And there we have our heart album. And all you have to do is now go through and line your, mat your inserts. add your pictures, some cut aparts that were left from the line, and that is our heart memory album. And I really enjoyed making this with you. It's been actually, it's an easy project, but I really liked it. It's one of my favorites so far for being a quickie. Oh, so this did fall off. We may have to get the hot glue out. I don't want to get the hot glue out. I burned myself. But I always like to do let's take a look at the two different. And like I said, I had flowers on this one. So let's re-add the flowers. I'm not going to add flowers to this one. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like it needs it. I'm going to have to hot glue for some reason. Those just are not taking. And cutting guide is on the first video. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed making it with you, and I can't wait to see your finished projects. Remember, this is a great album to use, not just this collection, any collection. And it's really a quick album when you're not doing a video, of course. It goes by a little faster. But quick gift, get your hot glue gun out. You're going to need it. A fun gift, and also a fun memory album of those pets that were once part of your family. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to join us on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. We love to see your finished projects posted there, and if you used authentic paper, you can post it on Everything Authentic Facebook group. So we have lots of fun groups where you can get inspiration, see design teamwork, and don't forget we have 4 brand new designers with Country Craft Creations, and they'll be sharing all their tutorials with you very soon. Also, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.